Thank you very much. Well, what a tremendous conference, eh? Wonderful. If you ask me to say, you know, what was my key, I would say inclusion is key to education. And I tell you why. In May 2015, 160 heads of state and other high-level UN people and other representatives attended the UN World Forum in Incheon at the Republic of Korea to discuss the the Sustainable Development Goals on education, which is the fourth point of the 17 SDGs, as they are called, and developed a draft called Education 2030, Incheon Declaration and Framework for Action towards Inclusive, Equitable, Quality Education and Promote Lifelong Learning Opportunities for All. I think we've got the thing right. You know, inclusion is the word. And we've been doing this in early childhood education through our work at a grassroots level. It remains for the governments to develop policies and to provide the resources and take the leadership to drive and implement the framework in all its facets in their work. But, of course, unfortunately, every 5 or 6 years, we have to change, you know, the frameworks and start anew, and that's what we're doing at this moment now. Every child, no matter who they are, where they come from, whether they are refugee, asylum seekers, are all children, and they're our children, and we as adults have a duty of care to ensure that their human rights, which are enshrined in the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, have a right to education which reflects their cultural, their linguistic, their needs, and also in community with the communities where they come from. Children on indefinite detention at Nauru and Manus and Christmas Islands come to mind here, as they are denied their rights of freedom to play, to learn, and other fundamental rights, human rights, and as that are outlined in the Convention on the Rights of the Child. There is no excuse and political justification to hold children, women, and people with disabilities who are the most vulnerable people in our society in indefinite detention in remote islands in the Pacific. Detention of children should be the last resort, as it is said in the Convention of the Rights of the Child. Ethnic childcare community services, sorry for the slip of tongue, from its inception has been promoting inclusion in children's services, disability and aged care for 35 years, and has responded to the needs of the sector for inclusive resources to facilitate inclusion for CALD, Aboriginal and children with disabilities in services. The bicultural support program, and we have 400 bicultural support workers who speak 110 languages, and many of them are here today. And I would like to thank them for the wonderful work that they do in their children's services to facilitate inclusion of children. Thank you very much. This hands-on resource has been providing support to children's services for 35 years. We hope that this a viable resource will be maintained by the government in the new Order of Children's Services restructure, which starts next year. Let's hope so. My belief is that we all need to work together to achieve the outcomes that we want on inclusion. Nothing is impossible unless we work to make it possible. There's so much out there. We heard today so many things that are happening. We really need to combine that in some ways so that we can move forward, because we really need to move forward, you know, in children's services. And now we have many thanks to give. Many people have contributed for the success of this conference. I would like to thank Linda Burney for opening the conference and gave an inspirational words to us so that we can continue, you know, to explore them in our deliberations. I would like also to thank Randa Katan for her keynote speech, which set the scene for the day. The speakers of the first panel, Inclusion from Different Perspectives, and the facilitator, Grace Liotta. The panel, Inclusion Across the Different Children's Services, facilitated by Leanne Gibbs. Megan Mitchell, the National Children's Commissioner for Children, Keys to Inclusive Resources, which she launched, and we opened their boxes. Matthew Doyle for Wurundjeri Music and Dance. Auntie Deborah Lennis for welcoming us to country. Our Master of Ceremonies, Monica Trapagas, and I think she did an excellent job in keeping us informed and also entertaining us. Thank you. All of you who came from different parts of the state and different services to be with us today. And last but not least, I would like to thank the team of the Ethnic Community Services Co-Operative, who are all over the place here. They are marvellous. They are tremendous. They did an amazing job. And every day, could they all come up here so that we can see you? Come on everybody, come up. Come on. I think I am blessed to have such a team, you know, working at the Ethnic Community Services Co-Operative. I would like to thank Children's Services Central, Leanne, and all the staff there for assisting in the planning and also today and presentation. And we are part of the consortium of Children's Services, and I think we are working so well together. And hopefully in the future we might stay together for some other, you know, funding. And also I'd like to thank you all for coming, and it was a wonderful conference. Thank you for your contribution.